Welcome to another World of Warships video. And today we're going to be taking a look at ranked play again. This is with respect to Tier 6. And today is going to be cruisers and destroyers. So let's jump right into this, and before we start going through the list, let's take note that the ranking I have for these ships is not really indicative of their actual ranking in my opinion, but more the ranking with respect to ranked play. As we know, ranked play is completely different than random battles or any other type of gameplay in World of Warships. Ranked play is a unique beast where everybody seems to camp and smoke, and that's about it. So let's start off with the cruisers. Number 1 is going to be the Budioni. You're thinking, well, that doesn't have smoke. No, it does not. The Budioni is actually pretty tanky Tier 6 cruiser with laser cannons for guns that set anything they touch on fire. It is one of my favorite ships in the entire game, and it truly is one of the best Tier 6, if not the best Tier 6 period. And for ranked play, I believe it still holds a spot at number 1. Number 2, following closely on the heels of the Budioni, is going to be the Grasse, or the La Glazinière. We'll lump them together here at number 2, but this ship is incredibly agile, fast, and can also take a hit. Not quite as much as the Budioni, but it can still take a hit. The guns are great. The reload is a little slow, but with increased fire chance and IFHE, this is a real weapon in Tier 6. It's definitely worth taking a look at playing all the way through the ranked season. Number 3 is going to be the British Tier 6 cruiser, the Leander. With the smoky situation we have in ranked play, this ship will fit right in. Just sit in the smoke and let everybody else, I guess, sit in their smoke, and you won't die. And I think that's how it goes. But in all seriousness, this ship is very good. It does not have HE, as most of you are aware. The AP, however, is pretty good. The fuse length is shortened for the British cruisers with their armor piercing, so they do tend to do damage almost consistently with what they hit. The range is average for the ship, but it doesn't seem to hurt it because the ship has very low concealment. Number 4 is going to be the Cleveland. The Cleveland would be much higher on the list because the Cleveland has lots of good attributes. It's got great AA, it turns well, the turrets rotate half decent, it's got a good amount of guns, it does good damage. However, it's got a 14.5 kilometer max range, and the guns are pretty worthless to anything over probably 12 kilometers. They take forever and forever and forever to get there. But the ship definitely deserves a spot in the top 5. Number 5, the Japanese cruiser Alba. The ship doesn't have a great rate of fire. It doesn't even have a lot of guns. But the ship does have speed, stealth, and a good set of torpedoes to fire into everybody camping in their smoke. So that's how this ship ended up at number 5. We do have some honorable mentions here. The Admiral Graf Spee. The ship is as a tank. It really is a tank. but it just doesn't have the damage output to be considered for the top 5, or doesn't have the number of guns. If it had more guns, you might chain fire it, but the way it is with the 2 guns, you're waiting forever and ever in between volleys. Next, we need to talk about ships that we shouldn't play. The Duca. I don't think the Duca is going to be very good for ranked play. I think that the smoke is going to be overwhelming. You're going to have to get in close with this ship. It does have a 14-kilometer range, so it's not very good as far as long-range engagements. But I think once we get in close, you're really going to see the ship struggle. The Duca is a ship that is an escort to battleships and let the battleship take all the damage while you pick them apart in the background. That's pretty much how I see the Duca, and I just don't feel that it's going to be very good in ranked play. Also, the Molotov. I just took out the Molotov for a few rounds, and I think it's getting worse. Or I've forgotten how to play it. The ship takes literally 100 football fields to turn around. It is fast, and that's probably part of the reason it can't turn. The rudder shift is slow, and you can get destroyed by a destroyer. If a destroyer can catch you on a broadside with AP, he will wreck you. Now you have the guns to fight back quite effectively. However, your rate of fire is far worse than pretty much any other cruiser. It's just basically a floating citadel with a giant cannon that takes forever to reload. So I would not play the Molotov in ranked play. Next up is going to be the Nuremberg. The Nuremberg, it did get a buff recently. The turrets in the rear of the ship can rotate all the way around now, so that is very nice. However, the ship just doesn't do any damage unless you're within 10 kilometers. And if you're within 10 kilometers, you're dead. The ship is almost as fragile as the Molotov is. The arcs on the guns aren't all that great. They're pretty good once you get in close, but again, if you're getting close with another ship, you're dead. So I just don't feel like that's a good ship at all to use in ranked play. I know that was a lot, so let's go ahead and recap briefly. At least recap my thoughts and opinions. The Buglioni, great range, decent armor, great fire starter. The De Grasse, with the right captain, the ship is a good fire starter, and it can handle like a Ferrari. Number 3, the Leander. The Leander is going to let you sit in smoke and use that great armor piercing to dish out damage. Number 4, the Cleveland. The Cleveland is probably the best all-around ship. It just does not have the range or the arcs of the shells to really be as effective as you would want to be with that ship. Number 5, the Alba. The Alba has decent guns, has a slow reload, but it also has a great set of torpedoes that'll help you get into the smoke and hopefully flush people out into the waiting jaws of your friends. Next up is going to be the destroyers for ranked play tier 6. I really don't think that any one of these ships is incredibly bad. There are some that I wouldn't play, but the first four I think are very interchangeable depending on your play style. But there is one that I feel stands out a little bit, and that's the Gaeta. So that's what we have here at number 1. With the 150mm guns equipped, you pretty much have the best all-arounder at tier 6. The guns do a lot of damage. They have an okay reload, 7.5 seconds on the reload. They have an okay reload, but they do pack a wallop. You've got 4 guns, which isn't as much as some, but is more than most. You have smoke, which obviously destroyer, which smoke is pretty much life when it comes to rank play, so you're good there. And it also has the smoke eliminator, the hydroacoustic. I think this ship might be pretty fun in ranked play. I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking forward to using the hydroacoustic to surprise some unsuspecting destroyers or even cruisers that are lurking in smoke. We'll see how that goes. Number 2, I have the smoke eliminator, the Fubuki. And you say, what? The Fubuki? Yes, the Fubuki. The Fubuki has 3 sets of torpedoes at a range of 10 kilometers and decent speed of 67 knots. And it also has a great reload. So this ship is going to be able to pretty much every 20 seconds fire off a volley into smoke that you see people setting up. So almost every 20-25 seconds you can just let 3 go into the smoke. And if you have another Fubuki on your team, I mean, you are just going to be pummeling these smoke clouds with torpedoes. Not only that, the ship is pretty maneuverable, it's fast, and it's got great concealment. Now, number 3, the Anshan. If you're more of a gunboat person, you like speed, you like maneuverability, then this is a ship for you. Not only that, but unlike its piece of crap brother, the Gnevny, the Anshan actually has torpedoes. Yes, 2 sets of torpedoes that can go out to 8 kilometers, which is still I believe a 1.5 kilometer stealth fire capability for the torpedoes. And the torpedoes actually reload fairly quickly. So I think this is probably the best ship for you if you're a fan of gunboats. Number 4, Shinonome. Yeah, this is the ship that you get for completing the campaigns. It doesn't really do anything the best, but it does do everything that it does fairly well. If you could follow what I just said, it's very late at night. It does have 3 sets of turrets, so you do get some extra gun power. I believe it's got six guns on the ship, 3 turrets with 2 guns each. You also have torpedoes that can get out to 8 kilometers, which is very good considering the ship has around a 6.2 or 3 kilometer detection range, so you definitely have a great stealth fire capability there. But again, the ship just doesn't do anything really, really well. That's why we're sitting at number 4. Number 5. Enter the US with the Farragut. The Farragut is a ship where you need to use your smoke, because you have the best smoke in the game. You have American smoke, so you need to use that. And once you see ships, you need to pummel them with your great reload and your fast turrets. This is a ship that you can't afford to run into, say, an Anshan or a Gaeta and run away from and shoot. You need to get close. You need to put your rounds on target. But I really don't see that this ship is going to do that great in ranked. I could be completely wrong, but last season everybody sat in smoke, and anybody that wandered out of smoke was obliterated. Having said that, we also did have lots of radar. The Belfast, the Fiji has pretty good hydroacoustic, so it did have some characteristics rather that we might not see this time. But I do still think that gunboats aren't going to fare that well, especially gunboats that don't have any torpedoes to help out. Farragut's pretty fast, but still, it's not a Anshan or anything like that. It's just an average gunboat. Alright, honorable mention for the destroyers is going to be the Hatsuharu. This ship was a lot like the Fubuki, except you're missing a torpedo launcher. So not as many torpedoes. It's just, and that's when that's your whole thing is torpedoes and you don't have any. That makes you not very good. So that's why it was the honorable mention. And it's only the honorable mention because the Gnevny is a ship that you should not play at all. And I think the Gnevny is going to get obliterated by anybody that goes up against it if anybody does bring one into a match. The Gnevny does have some stuff going for it. It is pretty quick. It does have a big turn circle though. The detectability is at 7, which is kind of getting up there. But you just don't have torpedoes. And for me, if you don't have torpedoes, why even plan a destroyer? The whole goal of a destroyer, in my opinion, is to spot the enemy, try to find somebody who's kind of off by themselves, move in for a torpedo run, and help your team secure the win with caps. The Fubuki can't defend itself with torpedo, or not, excuse me. The Gnevny cannot defend itself with torpedoes. It doesn't have great detectability. It's just a ship you shouldn't play. Let's just say that. So there you have it. That's what I have for cruisers and destroyers. I do thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. And have a good day.